Hello. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here, guys. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. Well, as you know, this week, the Arizona legislature repealed the 1864 total ban on abortion. When the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the unconstitutional Roe v. Wade and returned the issue of abortion back to the states, we knew that this part would be messy and complicated as the states decided their policy. And the last couple of weeks have been messy and complicated, there's no doubt about it. But now Arizona has a law that both Republicans and Democrats, just a couple of years ago, signed into law and supported. And a Republican governor signed it into law. This is one of many issues for voters as we go into this important election. And it's obviously a very important issue, the most important issue for members of the media. Every press conference that I've had, I've seen many of your faces, you've been to those press conferences, and this seems to be the only issue that you seem to care about. I will hold a press conference on the border, and you'll ask me questions on this issue. I'll hold a press conference on the economy, and you will ask me questions about this issue. As you know, I've outlined exactly where I stand on this issue. My goal is simple. I want to save as many babies as possible, and I want to help women. I want to help them so that they know there are other options available. I'll tell you a little bit about how I came to this policy. A year ago, had an opportunity to visit Hungary, the country of Hungary, and I learned that they cut the number of abortions in half and they never changed a single law. I don't think the only way to save babies is with laws. It comes with policies. This is pro-family policies. In Hungary, when you get married, they give you a tax rebate. When you have a baby, they give you another tax rebate. Any woman in Hungary who has 4 babies never pays taxes again. And as a mother myself, I know that when you have babies and you go back into the workforce, that's a difficult time. Very difficult to make that decision. In Hungary, they actually offer tax rebates to grandparents who are willing to help take care of their grandchildren so mom and dad can get back into the workforce. They're called baby bonuses. It's also called pro-family legislation. And when I get to the U.S. Senate, that is my plan. I will be the most pro-family U.S. Senator in the country. I want to explore these options when I get to D.C., and I want to move on them when I get to D.C. So it's more than just talk. It's actions that help women, babies, family, and children. I will put forth policies that help women so they know there is financial help. I will let them know there's adoptive services available and true choices out there so they can make a better educated decision. We're going to push pro-family policies that make it easier for people to start families. We will improve the economy so that young people know it's affordable enough for them to get married and start a family. It's true that we're only as strong as our most important institution, and that institution is the family. And right now, if you get out and talk to Arizonans, you understand the family is in trouble right now. The family is in trouble because of bad policy. You know, we bail out big banks and big corporations all the time, but when is the last time we did anything to help families? I want to be very clear. As your U.S. Senator, I will oppose federal funding of abortion and federal banning of abortion. Ruben Gallego, my opponent, voted to spend hundreds of millions of your federal tax dollars on abortion. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled this is a state issue. States get to decide their abortion policy. Let me remind you in the media, my friends in the media, I am running for federal office. This is an issue that has been returned to the states. I think that some of you understand that, but more of you should look into it. Gallego voted to take away the ability for states to have input on their own abortion policy. The Supreme Court disagrees with him on that. Somebody needs to remind Ruben he's running for a federal office, not the state legislature. Arizona knows that I want to help women, that I want to help babies, and I want to help families. You all know exactly where I stand on this issue because you've asked me about it hundreds of times and I've answered your questions. And you can find my comprehensive policy right there on my website and a video where I outline exactly where I stand on this issue. You can go to karilake.com/issues. But unfortunately, for the people of this great state, of the state I love, Arizona, they don't know where Ruben Gallego stands. They don't know where his radical ideology is. And a big reason why is because you guys refuse to ask him where he stands. You refuse to pin him down on his radical abortion policy. And I'm not sure why you're failing to do that. I think it's because many of you are foot soldiers for the DNC, the Democrat Party. Let me tell you what his stance is on abortion. This is where he stands. He has the most extreme abortion stance of any politician that is running in America. And guess what, guys? He has a voting record to prove it. He supports abortion up until the moment of birth. That's a fact, and he's voted for that. He's voted to use $300 million of your federal tax dollars that you pay in your paycheck every week and send off to the federal government. He has voted to use $300 million of our federal tax dollars to fund abortion. And he sponsored legislation to send hundreds of millions of our hard-earned tax dollars to other countries to support abortion overseas. Reuben wants to spend your tax money on everything except securing our border, reducing crime in our communities, tackling the homeless crisis on our streets, stopping the cartels from trafficking human beings, children, and a weapon of mass destruction called fentanyl. He doesn't care about those issues. He's caused those problems. He's full of bad ideas. He supports sanctuary cities. He supports defunding the police and even had the gall to march and defund the police rallies. He supports asylum, job permits, and also giving people who are coming here illegally housing and resources that are meant for American citizens. And he supports men playing in women's sports. Reuben Gallego voted to send $270 million to Ukraine, including more money, $65 billion more just last week. He was so proud of that vote, in fact, that did you see him on the House floor waving around the Ukrainian flag like a pom-pom girl? He's so proud to support Ukraine, but he doesn't care about our border, which is just a few hours south of here. And when Reuben Gallego walked out on his wife days before she gave birth to his firstborn child, served her with divorce papers, and ran off with a DC lobbyist, that shows you that he is willing to walk out on his family, and he will walk out on Arizona. Reuben Gallego's vote does not belong to the people of his district. His vote belongs to his handlers in the District of Columbia. And by the way, that vote goes with Joe Biden 100% of the time. We all know that Reuben Gallego has been a disaster when it comes to our safety and our security and our economy. And that's the reason why he wants to make this entire election about abortion. They want to turn something that is so difficult and so personal into a political football. Shame on you, Reuben, and shame on you in the media for allowing him to do that. For far too long, Republicans have not had the courage to talk about this issue. They have shied away from it. I'm sure you know by now that I'm not the type of politician to shy away from any difficult issue. I've been happy to talk to you about all of the important issues that we face in this state. Nothing about our policy is extreme. I want to save as many babies as possible, help women so they know there are other options available to them. It is a Democrat named Reuben Gallego who is actually the extreme one on this issue. I want you to raise your hand right now if you have any questions for me on abortion. Anybody out there have any questions for me on abortion? Great. I thought you might. You can put your hands down. This is a great opportunity that I have for you guys. I am officially challenging my opponent, Reuben Gallego, to a one-on-one debate on the issue of abortion. We owe it to the people of this state, not just to state our policy, but to defend our policies, and I'm willing to do that. We owe it to them. I will defend saving babies any day of the week. I will defend helping women so they know there are other options out there so they can make a better decision for themselves and their future. Reuben can then defend partial birth abortion. He can defend abortion up to and the minute of birth. He can defend sending money overseas for abortion in foreign nations. He can defend taking away the state's ability to craft policy on this issue. Reuben and his friends plan to spend $120 million between now and November 5th on abortion. If he's willing to do that, he should be willing to stand before us and debate this issue. So now I'm speaking directly to Reuben Gallego. Take a look at your calendar, Reuben, and get back to my team. I think the perfect time to do this would be Mother's Day weekend. I'm more than willing to open up my schedule on Mother's Day weekend. and clear my schedule so that we can stand together and answer all of the questions that Ruben's friends in the media have and any questions that the people of Arizona have on this issue. I ask all of you to reach out to Ruben and encourage him to have the courage to show up for this debate. So I ask you right now to write down all of your questions, all of you who raised your hand, write down those questions. I look forward to a series of debates with Ruben on all of the issues that matter to Arizona, primarily the border, which is wide open, the economy, which is spiraling downward, and the safety and security of the people of this great state. But since abortion seems to be the only issue he wants to talk about, I think it's the perfect debate to start with, and I'm hoping that he will have the courage to show up. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.